Hi, I'm glad you're here. This is Aishwarya from Meeedly, the world's best business to business meeting scheduling tool. I will be your host, guiding you through a series of advanced programming concepts simplified for easy learning and practical use. Let's jump right into it. Today, we are building a simple Node.js API using Express, a tool that makes server development super easy. So, what is Express and why do we use it? Node.js is powerful, but you have to do everything manually. And Express is a lightweight framework that makes this easier. So, it simplifies routing, handling data, sending responses, all in fewer lines of code. So, instead of writing 20 lines to handle one request, Express does it in 3. That's why it's a go to choice for building APIs with Node. First, create a new server.js file and type in the following command. Here, we import the Express package, then use it to create our app. This app is our actual server. We also set a port like a door number. If someone wants to talk to our server, they go to localhost 3000. Now, after this, type in the following command. So let's talk about middleware. Middleware is a function that runs between the request and the response. Every request passes through middleware before reaching your root logic. Think of it like airport security. You check in your bag, which is the request, and then you go through security, which is the middleware, and then you board your plane, which is the root handler. So in this example, we log the path the user tried to access. Before that, we log the request method, which is get, post, delete, etc. And then we log the path the user tried to access, and then we call next to move on to the actual route. So middleware is great for logging, authentication, checking if the user is logged in or not, creating or validating input, and handling errors. After this, type in the following command. So this command says that this is a built-in middleware that tells Express, please read the body of incoming request and treat it as JSON. Without this, we wouldn't be able to access data sent from Postman or the front app in the post request. Now, let's add different type of routes to our API. Copy these lines to your code. It may look overwhelming, but let me explain. In this section, we are adding 3 different type of routes to our API. A get route to fetch or read data, a post route to accept and store data, and finally a delete route to remove something using an ID in the URL. Each route sends back a JSON response and uses the proper HTTP status code like 200 for OK or 201 for created. This is the foundation of building any API. Now, let's break down the code line by line. Here, app.get. This tells Express when someone sends a GET request to this route, run this function. And API/data means this is the path that they are visiting. So when the browser or postman hits http localhost 3000 /API/data, this route is triggered. And REQ and RES, these are the request and response objects. REQ holds information about the request and RES is used to send something back. And this line means we are sending a success status and 200 means it's okay. .json sends a JSON object as the response. So the user sees message get request has been received. Let's move on to post route. App.post, this handles post request. Usually used when the user wants to send data, like adding something. And this line means this grabs the data that the user sent in the request body, like form input or JSON. And this again means 201 is created. We use it when something new is added. And finally, .json, we are replying with a success message and echoing the received data back to confirm. And finally, the delete route. app.delete. Here, the ID is the URL parameter. It lets the user say which item to delete, example /API/data, and our ID could be 123. Request.params.id. So this pulls the ID value from the URL like 123, which will be our ID. And finally, this 200 means success, and .json replies with a message saying that the item was deleted. Before running it in the terminal, we need to start the server. This line tells Express to listen on port 3000 for any request. Once it's running, we will see a confirmation message in the terminal, and our API will be live at localhost 3000. That means we can now test everything, which is get, post, delete, directly in Postman or browser. So save your code and run it in the terminal. So now we can see that our server is running on localhost 3000. Alright, now open up Postman on your browser and let's test our first route, which is the GET request. Set the method to GET, and in the URL field, type the following, and then hit send. You should see a response like this: message GET request received, and the status will say 200 OK, which means everything has worked perfectly. Now let's test the post route to send some data. Change the method to post and use the same URL and go to body tab, choose raw, and in the drop down choose JSON. Then paste in some sample data like this. Now click send. You'll get a response that echoes back your data with a message, and the status 201 will be seen, which means it's created, meaning your data was accepted. Next, we'll try the delete route. Set the method to delete and use this URL with a sample ID. Now click send. You will see a response saying deleted item with ID 123. So this status should be 200, which is OK, confirming that the request worked. Remember, this is a mock example for now. You can use this to connect it to a real data as well. Now that we have handled get, post, and delete requests, let's try 401 and 404 authorization as well. Add these lines to your code. Let's break it down line by line. So here, /API/secure, this creates a get route at API/secure. And request.headers.authorization reads the authorization header from the request. And this line checks if the token is exactly barrow secret 123. And if the token is correct, it sends a 200 OK with a success message. But if it is missing or incorrect, it returns with a 401 unauthorized error with a clear message. Now, let's move on to 404 middleware. So this line is a catch-all route handler for anything that was not matched earlier. And it always responds with a 404 status and a message like route not found. This ensures that the user is informed when they visit a route that does not exist. Now let's save this code and run it in the terminal again. Open up Postman again. Now let's secure a route using a token check. We have created a protected endpoint at /API/secure, so it checks for an authorization header. If the request does not include the correct token, the server responds with the 401 unauthorized, which means I know this route exists, but you're not allowed in unless you prove that you're authorized. So let's put it to a test. In Postman, set the method to get and type in the following URL, specifying /API/secure. Now without the headers, just click send. You'll get you're not authorized to view this and the status as 401 unauthorized. Now let's try again, but this time we will pass the correct token. Go to the headers tab and change the key as authorization and value as barrow secret 123. Now click send. You'll get access granted and the status as OK. And that's how you protect sensitive routes by requiring a valid token in the request. Now, let's finally handle invalid routes using a 404 not found response. This happens when someone tries to access a route that does not exist. Maybe they mistyped it or it was removed. At the bottom of our server file, we have added a catch-all route that returns a clean error message. So in Postman, set the method to get and the URL as to API/random or any undefined path. Now click send. You should see a message saying route not found and the status as 404 not found. So this tells the user, hey, we heard your request, but we do not have anything in here. It keeps our API responses clean and informative even when things go wrong. Great job! You just built a basic but powerful API using Node.js and Express. We handled routes, errors, and tested everything in Postman. See you in the next video.